Hey there, how you doing? So this is a forecast for Monday, the 27th of July. Now, um, I I think this is a really important day, not just because, as you can see here, the true North Node is going into Aquarius, which that changes every 18 months. So that's pretty important. The last time it changed was January 2025. So there's a new guiding principle that's coming in, we could say. I mean, the North Node is about the evolutionary decisions and that we're going through to restore trust. It's really showing how humanity is evolving and the challenges that may come up for us. So this is like a line in the sand. We're saying goodbye to the North Node in Pisces, which was wanting us all to be spiritual, but it was also encouraging us to kind of let go and just trust in things. Now it's coming into Aquarius, where, yes, we still have learnt to trust. And I think that's quite helpful because we're now coming into social evolution, I would say. You know, how do we belong together? That's a big question that I think is coming up with the North Node going into Aquarius. But I just want to take us a little step back into Sundays. And in actual fact, if we have a look at the whole week ahead, in yesterday's forecast, Sunday the 26th, I was giving an overview for the week ahead. And there are these four big things. So on Sunday, Saturn going retrograde, it's showing us where we're internalizing our structure and we're changing how we're being. You know, we're maybe taking ourselves seriously, which I think is really, really great and can be very, very helpful. So we're already in this very personalized storyline. And I think that's the thing for Sunday is how are we relating to ourselves? You know, what have we learned about ourselves through the recent Mercury retrograde in Cancer? And now what do we want to change? But as we're coming into Monday, we're also adding in from a serious perspective, where do we belong? Not just who am I, which is more the South Node in Leo, who am I? This North Node is going into Aquarius, really asking, where do I belong? But also, how do I belong? Like, what is it to belong to something? And so this is huge. Now, I said this was quite a big day. We've got also 3 exact aspects that the sun is making. Now, let's just spend a moment here because the sun is going to go into an exact opposition with Pluto. The sun is also going to make an exact trine to Neptune. And then later on is going to make an exact sextile to Uranus. Is that reminding you of anything? Because it reminds me of, you got it, the Barbolt's basket. But also, I still think of this as a boat. I really do think it's a boat taking us from our unconscious hidden self on a journey to realization and to rising up into the sky. You know, Jupiter that's leading this and is moving faster out of all of these. Jupiter is the god of the sky, god of the heavens, and Pluto is the god of the underworld. So we are literally, I think, taking us out of our shadows, our realized shadows, and coming to rise up. So let's go back to Monday, the 27th. So the sun here is making aspects to each of these. And again, the sun's even faster than Jupiter. So this is indicating to me that with a serious intent and a pure intent, we can have a really bloody helpful realization about ourselves where we come up against what we see as limiting ourselves. Maybe we see that there's a power that's higher than us or harder than us, or maybe we see where we've held our own power back, where we also get to connect into our sense of divinity and our sense of, the sense of union, which I love. You know, the idea of the sun in a trine with Neptune, you know, it's sublime, you know, that energy of creativity like coursing through your veins, that knowing that we are part of God's stuff. And then the sun in a sextile to Uranus, which is absolutely firing on our mind, our ability to channel, our ability to just whoa, that idea just popped right in. So this is strong. This is a great day. This is a great day to reorient ourselves. And during that day, we've also got Moon in a square to Saturn. Now, this is capturing my attention because as the moon goes on, it's going to go into that square. So the moon is in Capricorn. It's tough. It's resilient. It's taking no shit. It's not gonna let you off. The moon is going to say, look, if you want to get somewhere, you need a bit of discipline. It's going to clear its throat and say, come on, get back to work, get back to whatever you need to do. And it's going to encourage you to actually take the hard path today, not to lounge around. It's actually going to encourage you to pay attention to the inner things you're wanting to create structure for. So again, Saturn's retrograde, the moon, it might feel a bit confronting because, we've also got the sun in an opposition to Pluto. That is confronting. However, it's giving us the impetus to dive into ourselves a little bit and get the job done. So Monday, I think, if you've got hard task things that you're focusing on, that maybe are requiring a change of pace and a change of attitude from you, that are maybe requiring a little bit of commitment and like pull up your socks, and get on with it. This is a really helpful energy. Now, one of the downsides of this is, especially with Pluto in opposition to the sun and the moon in a square to Saturn, you could be judgmental of yourself. You might find, and if you're not being judgmental of yourself, but you've got that judgment story going on, you might find other people to be judgmental of you. And so I would say, be careful. Like, who do you want to approve of you or not? If you don't want to be in an approval story, then please don't spend any time around anyone that you've ever felt judged by, unless you have to. Just keep your head down, keep your powder dry. But, for most of us, the biggest bully in our life is actually coming from us. And so, as that inner bully or inner critic comes up or inner parent comes up, whatever it is that's coming up and kind of just saying, oh, you think you're going to do that, do you? Well, let me tell you, rolling up the sleeves, just like notice it and name it maybe. I got this idea actually from one of the members in my community called Janet. Janet's awesome. She's really good. She was saying, when you come across these things, name it. See, I always think, when you come across that part of you that's saying, you're never going to account to anything or amount to anything, you're never going to get past yourself, what are you even thinking about? That sort of negative, slimy, it's going to pull you down kind of voice. I always think, like, where did it first come from? Who was it? What voice is it coming in? And yeah, that's helpful. But like when Janet said to me, just name it. And when you name it, it disappears. It's like once you see it and notice it and you say, oh, it's you again, all of a sudden it's gone. And so I'm playing with that at the moment. But, I recommend you play with your own consciousness games. So if you see yourself being a complete bitch to you, like if you are turning on yourself in any way, confront it. Say, I see you. And you might like be all fluffy with it and say, look, you're obviously hurt. Come, let's sit next to each other, have a cup of tea. Or you say, for God's sake, I don't need you today. Name it and let it go. There are loads of different ways this could confront us. However, if we just take the frisson of energy behind it, if we find out, like, why might I be bullying myself right now? Or why might I be hard on myself? You might find that the underlying meaning for it is actually quite helpful. It might be that actually you only take action when you get a telling off. And so you might actually be trying to help yourself by being mean to you to get the job done. Do you see what I mean? I've certainly slagged myself off behind the scenes to get something done because negative motivation for a long time worked really well. But it's not working so much anymore. And I do think now we're in the Chiron Taurus era. It's not going to work. That's not the way to get things done now. We need to work with compassion with ourselves. And so I think the compassionate way is important. So yeah, Monday, deal with your inner bitch and see what transforms, because the true North Node going into Aquarius, the sun in these three strong striking positions, 1, 2, 3 never happens like that, but it's happening like that right now. It's a power day. Watch out to see how it changes things. So I'm going to leave that there, sending you lots of love and power to confront that inner bitch. And we'll speak soon. There'll be another story coming tomorrow where we'll have a look at Tuesday, which looks relatively quiet. So anyway, lots of love. Take care. Catch you soon. Bye for now.